Probably this problem gives you a hard time. It's very hard to print something based on a condition and something else based on another condition. Later we will learn about the if-else condition, which will make such a program very trivial. But without such a tool, it's a bit hard idea. For simplicity, if you would like a simpler problem, imagine that b is either 0 or 1, not negative 1 and 1. How can we solve this problem? The idea is as following. Let's compute this term and this term. So now let's call this value 1 and value 2. If you multiply the input b and 1 minus b in the values, for example, multiply this with b and this one in 1 minus b and put them both of them in a single equation. In this way, based on the b value, one of the terms will be 0 and the other will be the actual value. The remaining trick is the input is minus 1 and 1, not 0 and 1. So the idea is, how can we convert something that is minus 1 and 1 to something that's always 0 and 1? This is one extra trick in this program. Let's see what I mean by that. First of all, let's prepare our two values. We have an equation if the value is 1, and we have another equation if the value is minus 1. Now, we would like to convert the minus 1 and 1 to be 0 and 1 to facilitate creating an equation with it. Here is the idea. You can convert the equation from 1 to the value of 1 to be like, look here. If the value of b is for example 1. 1 plus 1 is 2, divided by 2, 1. Now we created like an expression, its value is 1 if actually the input value is 1. And here is the other case. If the input is negative 1, then what we need is just to switch this value here from 1 to minus 1. Let's simulate it if the value of b is minus 1. If b is minus 1, minus 1 plus 1 would be 0. 0 divided by 2 is 0. Is 1 now, is 0, is negative 1, is 1. The moral of that is, we managed to have two variables that it would be either 1 and 0 if the input was 1, or 0 and 1 if the input was minus 1. I hope you got the target of this equation. Now, let's write all of them in a single equation here. What I'm writing here is 1 is negative 1. If it is 1, then this is 1, and we will use this term only, and this would be 0, so all of this term now will be cancelled. On the other side, if is negative is 1, then the term will be computed, and this one will be 0, so it will be cancelled. Again, one more time, if you got confused, the moral of it is to prepare the two different equations and prepare two variables. They will be either 1 and 0 or 0 and 1, and based on the input will be converted to only have one of the two guys here. This is definitely not very practical in the market in any way. As I said, we will learn later the if-else conditions, which will make our life much easier, but it is good to build like a mathematical mind that can make use of whatever available to build the good solutions. That's all.